This episode of Oldie But a Goodie is brought to you by Shakespeare Aliens. The runaway stage show hit is back at Gasworks Theatre for Melbourne Fringe this October. Keep listening to this episode for more info on how you can see Shakespeare Aliens.
Imagine a year where 2 comedies enter, 1 comedy exits. Why are we putting comedies against each other? Because art is dead and not subjective anymore. The comedy O-Rama!
The year is 2001.
Hello and welcome to Oldie But a Goodie. Oh wait, sorry. No, I forgot. We're rebranding this episode. We're rebranding this episode to Welcome to WWE. I can't think of another thing.
Wow. That's an original one. What does that stand for, Sandra? I really want to know what WWE stands for.
It stands for Western Wacky Entertainment. Because we're doing 2 comedies from America.
That is true.
Yeah.
It is wacky Western entertainment.
They are pretty wacky. Well, they're more absurd than wacky, I guess.
Yes. I'd say they've got some wackiness. They've got some absurdities. They're wacky boys.
Okay, they are both boys, I guess. They're both directed by boys.
No, I mean like the boys, you know.
What?
The boys, you know. You crack a cold one.
Your name is Zach and are confusing. My name is Sandro and I'm confused.
Yeah, well, welcome to WWE Western Wacky Entertainment. It's a bit confusing.
It's very odd. I don't know what's going on.
Don't worry, neither did half the reviewers.
Oh, so, no. Yeah, well, this week,
that's a good time.
I chose the movie Zoolander, but in choosing the movie Zoolander, I went, hey, that's considered the best comedy of 2001. But my favorite comedy of 2001 / probably all time is Wet Hot American Summer, and you didn't pick it. So I'm going to make you watch it anyway. And we're doing a bonus battle between those 2 films because they are both good comedies, but only one can be the best. Unless you thought Josie and the Pussycats was better than both of them, in which that's totally fine, actually.
I don't know, like, Josie and Pussycats, comparing comedy films is a stupid thing to do to begin with, because they're, like, different humor.
Yeah.
So they're not doing the same thing. Except, like, Josie and the Pussycats was making fun of the industry as well a bit.
Yes.
So
it's kind of like Zoolander, I guess.
It was actually both, like, Zoolander and Wet Hot American Summer, because it was, like, parodying movies while also making fun of the industry.
Well, because it's a bonus battle, there's no format. I mean, there is.
There is.
There is a format. We go through our thoughts on each movie, and then we do the battle. But there's no intro / first impressions.
Well, I could just give my first impressions on both of them.
On both of them at the same time?
No.
In one sentence. In one sentence.
Stupid people do stupid things. Very funny, though.
Yeah, checks out, I guess.
Yeah, what's your first impression, Sandro?
In one sentence?
Well, you made me do it in one sentence.
Damn, 2001, bad year for comedies, but 2 good ones, actually. I went, haha.
So you put that on both of their review sites, you would put that review?
Yes.
Would you put that on the Pussycats as well?
That was also really good, yes.
And then people have to figure out which 2 you're referencing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no one really... I mean, you could probably assume... maybe not, because not many people have seen one of these. So I don't know. All right, well, we'll do some first impressions in a second, but first, Zach, I chose it, and other options weren't as good.
That is true. Like all of them. Speaking of, Born Romantic.
Whoa.
4 love stories set in a salsa club.
Ooh.
Yay, we love romantic stories. Just like that Antonio Banderas movie you made us watch.
I did make us watch that. That was a mistake, but I didn't choose this, so I've learnt. Really?
That's true. Dinner Rush. A guy tries to turn his restaurant into a New York destination spot.
A bit trendy. What do you think he does to get it on the destination spot?
He puts Meals on Wheels.
Oh. I feel like that's a bit trite. It's been done before.
Yes. Like on our podcast where we reviewed Meals on Wheels. Yeah. I made that joke last time. And I'll do it again.
What a mad lad. You're really saying it like it is this week.
Look, I've watched a couple of satire comedies, and I've got a couple of beers down. My filter is off at this point.
That's right. Yeah, if you're a new listener and you haven't heard of Bonus Battle before, we've done like a couple of them on the main show. They're all like this. These are the loose ones.
Unhinged.
These are loose episodes.
Because after 3 hours of watching pure stupid comedy and grinding my bones against every orifice I have,
what the fuck does that mean?
I was gonna say grinding out my thoughts onto a piece of paper so that I was prepared for this episode.
Yes.
But I just started saying words and I didn't stop myself for some reason. Normally I'd stop, correct myself, go again. No. I'm not prepared to do that. I have zero patience, zero time. I've just got to say it. Unlike you, who don't say a word. A psychiatrist has to...
Oh, the option was don't say a word.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it. Yeah. A psychiatrist has to get information out of his mental patient when his daughter gets kidnapped.
Oh, no!
Extreme Days. 4 boys head off on a road trip to do some extreme sports. Hilarity ensues. That was your second pick, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just the poster is amazing. It looks like everything that we just find hilarious. It's so 2001. Every guy on the poster has frosted tips. It's great.
Oh yeah, you did say that. I kind of want to look it up now. I'm going to look it up 2 seconds to ruin the recording just so I can... Oh boy. Oh yeah, that looks like a 2001 group of boys.
It's fucking great. It even says features the hit soundtrack at the bottom of the poster. So I guess the soundtrack was popular before the movie. I don't know. I've got so many questions.
Speaking of good soundtracks, Hearts in Atlantis.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea if it has a good soundtrack.
I've seen it.
Oh.
I think it was very average.
Okay, nice. Good to know. Stephen King's adaptation about a young boy who starts up a friendship with a mysterious older man.
Yeah, it's based off a Stephen King book that's 4 short stories.
Classic.
It adapts the first short story, which was a spin-off of The Dark Tower, except the adaptation removes all references to The Dark Tower, and it doesn't really work because of that.
That's unfortunate.
But let's get into the bonus battle. What should we start with? What did you watch first?
I watched Wet Hot Summer.
Oh, I watched Zoolander first, so...
Specifically because I've already seen Zoolander, and if I really just gave up, I could pretend I watched it and then didn't.
Ah, yes. The classic maneuver we sometimes do of not watching movies that we've seen before.
Yeah.
We've never done that, actually. I can't think of a time I've done that.
I've only skimmed through one movie once. I've watched every movie we've ever done.
Yes.
But I skimmed through one movie once because I was so done with it.
What one was that?
That was the one where the kid... We mentioned it the other day.
Oh, the buddy system with fucking Will Wheaton.
Yeah, the buddy system. I skimmed through that.
I remember also I think I fell asleep or something. I don't know. It was quite bad.
Yeah, it was just so nothing.
Yeah.
I couldn't bear, so I just skimmed through it. And then at one point you mentioned a joke and it was like, didn't you find that funny, Zach? And I was like, haha, yeah, I did. Totally.
Yeah.
I need to go back and listen to that episode. Just how done I was that day.
It was such a bad movie. It was really, really boring, especially because that was the second film we did recording online, I think.
Yeah.
As well. Because the first one we did was Hot Dog the Movie, which it's funny because Wet Hot American Summer, parody of films like Hot Dog the Movie. So it's quite good.
There you go.
All right, so you saw Wet Hot first. I saw Wet Hot second because I know that it's the funniest movie of all time, and nothing like if I watched Zoolander afterwards, I'd be like, oh, there's not as many jokes in this.
That makes sense.
But what do you want to talk about first? We'll go with your.
We could talk about Wet Hot Summer. It's your love child.
What?
Your little baby, little schmackaroo.
All right, we'll talk about Wet Hot American Summer. It's a parody of films from the 80s.
Yeah. But it's not like a specific parody.
No.
It's just like parodying bits of movies.
Yeah, while also being its own thing with its own sense of humor.
Yes. Because there is a story, and it's just a one story. It's not like... It's very specifically like... It's... the last day of summer camp.
Yes.
And it's everything happens in this one day.
Which is amazing.
Which doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Big fan. And loads of crazy stuff happens. They leave the camp at one point and go on a drug spree. They buy drugs, do harder drugs, rob an old lady, and then do, like, meth.
Yep.
And go to, like, a meth shack.
Yep, they go to, like, a meth house. Just shoot up. They get addicted.
Yeah.
And it all happens over the course of an hour.
Yeah. And then they just come back home and come back to the camp like nothing happened. Which is incredible. I'll mention my favorite joke, which made me laugh out loud because I was just not expecting it, is when the child's like, I'm going to tattletale on you letting a kid drown, and they just pick him up in the van, drive out and throw him out of the van.
Yeah, that's a great one.
They did that twice, which was hilarious. I laughed out loud because I was just not expecting it. Just sudden boot of a child.
I think I've seen this film so many times. I usually, like, whenever something really bad happens in life, I watch this. So the last time I saw it would have probably been COVID, so 2 years ago. I saw this for the last time, I think. I already know a lot of the jokes and I'm laughing in anticipation for it, but there's one joke on this watch that I must have forgotten about.
Yeah.
Which is when the guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's driving up on his motorcycle, but it's like a stunt driver.
Yes.
And then we go to the director of the camp. She's like, whoa, what are you doing here? We flash back and it's the actual actor.
Yeah. They switched the actor and stunt actor for 2 seconds of filming. That was it. And then for the rest of the film, it was nothing.
Yeah.
It was just 2 seconds. It was great.
That was the hardest laugh I had on this rewatch. I just completely forgot that joke was in this. So you liked this movie? Yes.
Yeah. I liked both the movies. I thought they were great movies. I thought this was a great movie. I liked there was a lot of things. I liked the camp director, the story. Their conversations were the most awkward in the world. And I like very specifically, it felt like she didn't have lines, which was so, I don't know, funny to me. It felt like she was acting. She was reading lines. But, like, it felt like she didn't have lines. Specifically, there's a scene where she's in the mess hall calling names. And it's filmed like they just told her to make up names.
Yeah, that scene's amazing. That's not even important for the plot. I don't know why she's doing it.
No. It's great. It's some great stuff.
Yeah.
The mock training scene.
Yep. With Jean, the best cook in any movie ever.
Correct. The Vietnam vet. No, that was great because it like made fun of like 3 or 4 different training things. Mm-hmm. It made fun of like the kung fu grab the thing. It made fun of like the dance. It made fun of just fighting. Like
just regular fighting. I liked the scene in the lead up to that as well when where he's like, oh, okay, you're gonna teach me about this. How do you say it? The new way? It's great. I love the story arc of Jean as well because they take a throwaway joke, which is he says incredibly sus things and then backtracks on saying those things. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go get my dick cream. What? I'm gonna go make sure that spit is clean or something like that. He always backtracks on whatever he says. They take that dumb throwaway joke and they turn it into a character arc.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I love how they just make characters cheer or boo at will and they don't care, you know? It's just like, oh, the scene where it would have been really awkward, nope, they're all cheering. They're like, yeah!
Oh, you mean the scene where Alan Shemper comes out and does stand-up about how old he is, and it's the most unfunniest stand-up ever.
Yeah, but everyone's fucking bawling their eyes out laughing.
To the point where it tricks you into thinking it is funny the second time he does it, when he's like, my camp counselor was fucking Jesus Christ! It's great. At that point, yeah, you're absolutely losing it. I think that's a really funny one. What did you think of the nerd? Because you don't like the nerd stereotype, and there is a D&D nerd in this movie.
Well, you see, in traditional 5e D&D, druids don't learn the charm spell, which he specifically references because he wants the girl to play a druid. But in the edition that had currently come out, 3rd edition, druids could learn the charm spell, although it probably wouldn't have applied to 3rd edition because it only came out a year beforehand for the movie.
Right.
And it was probably in production then. So it actually probably meant a D&D. But it's still okay there because druids do learn the charm spell because the charm spell also applies to animals. In your modern D&D setting, druids only get charm animal and not charm person.
Right.
Which is why that joke wouldn't work nowadays. But he also mentions that it's a level 5 spell. Which implies that it's upcast to level 5, which doesn't make sense because upcasting a charm spell, it wouldn't actually do anything to it, apart from the fact that it would be harder to dispel, which might be what he's saying, but more accurately, what I think he's trying to say is that she is level 5 and thus can cast a charm spell. It's just a weird way of saying it.
Yeah, okay. I liked when she called him a douchebag and he said, douchebags are hygienic products, so I take that as a compliment, thank you.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked about the nerd.
Yeah. Oh, that fucking scene as well. So the end of the movie, spoilers, go watch it. The end of the movie is they discover that there's a piece of a satellite that's going to crash into the camp and destroy everything. And they need a random number generator for this thing they've made to try and push it away from the camp. But it's set in the 80s. They don't have computers that can generate random numbers yet.
Yeah, they'd need some sort of supercomputer, which they just don't have.
They don't have, but they do have a D20 die.
Yeah, because no Dungeon Master goes without their D20. Haha.
That was pretty funny. But my theory, though, what they were doing, it didn't help at all. What did help was Steve.
Yeah.
Steve from The Big Bang Theory knew all along what was going to happen, and he used his superpowers to push that piece of satellite out of the way.
Yeah, well, the characters do mention in movie, it was like, are you sure we actually helped that it wasn't just that sudden wind that just occurred? And they're like, nah, we definitely did that.
Yeah. That's funny. Like, what did you think when all the weird stuff starts happening? Even, like, characters just yelling out of nowhere, like, at the start. She's asking the science guy out, and he's like, no! Just randomly.
Yeah. The characters just kind of go from 0 to 10 without any warning throughout the film. There's like one thing where a guy comes in urgently, it's like, oh, the kids, they're heading towards rapids, and the lady's like, oh, why doesn't thing say the thing? And he's like, oh, because you're not here, we need to find it. And she's like, holy shit, we need to find it!
We need to find it! Yeah, that scene's amazing when they're like, the call, it's coming from inside the camp! And they're just like running around the camp, destroying everything.
Yeah, they just go insane, whereas like 20 seconds ago, she was calm as a cucumber. Yeah, it was pretty fun. I loved it.
Yeah, good.
I enjoyed, I wrote down the like, I said no! when he freaked out. I love that conversation between them throughout the movie, it's just the most awkward conversation I've ever heard humans speak. It was great.
It's something. Oh, the fucking part when they're both like, they want to find out more about like what the other is into, so they all go to the nurse on camp and ask her, how do I find out information about this thing? And she's like, go to the library.
She's like, I need to study astrophysics. How can I? And he's like, go to the library. And the guy comes in, I need to study camp counseling. That was good.
A couple other quick things to mention. One of the greatest scenes, especially because we did Hardball 2 weeks ago, is the sports scene. What an amazing sports scene, where the team is finally getting ready to beat those anonymously evil campers at Camp Tiger Claw. They're finally going to beat them in whatever that game is they're playing. But then one of the kids is like, it kind of sounds like this whole thing's been done before. Can we just call it off? Like, I feel like our time is going to be better spent elsewhere.
Yep. And then it's like, do you all feel this? Okay. And then the kids rock up and he just walks over to the bus and is like, we don't feel like playing. And they're like, okay, cool. And they just leave.
See ya.
Yep. And that's it for the sports section, which is just incredible.
What else is here? I think that's pretty much everything outside of when we get into the topics.
Yeah.
What did you think of the ending? Where this whole time, Cooper's been getting up the courage to start going out with his crush, and then they finally do, and then at the very end, she's like, nah, I'm 16, actually.
Yeah. I was expecting it, but I didn't know what I was expecting, which is a weird thing to say. I was expecting something, but I didn't know what it was. And throughout the whole time, I was trying to figure out what expectation they were going to change.
Yeah.
I was like, that makes sense. That I thought they were all going to die. That was my thought, that they were just going to... the satellite was going to hit them and they were just all going to die, and that was going to be the end. Which would have also been funny. But yeah, no, it was good. It was funny.
I like specifically when she's like, we're 16-year-old teenagers, and they look like they're fucking 25. It's great. It's great. Yeah. So what would you rate this? Because for me, obviously, it's better than a goodie. I think this is incredible.
I'd say it's a goodie. I don't know if better than a goodie.
Okay.
I definitely enjoyed it a lot. But I also enjoyed Zoolander a lot.
Which we'll get to in just a second. But Wet Hot American Summer, you're saying a goodie. Critics disagree with you. 37% on the tomato meter.
Yes, Sandra. What have you got to say about that?
Oh, fuck the critics. I never agree with them.
Yeah, fuck them. That's right.
75% audience score, though, which I think is pretty correct. I mean...
Yeah, why did the critics rate this so low?
I think because movies that are just silly are very, like, they're looked down on a lot of the time, which is a shame because the best comedies are the ones with, like, non-stop jokes, which is what this is.
I wouldn't say so. They don't have to be non-stop, but a lot of the best ones are.
Yeah, like this, Planes, Trains, I guess, The Naked Gun is pretty
there's a lot of good ones that just have constant jokes throughout.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't necessarily have to have them constantly.
I guess I'll rephrase my thing. Absurd comedies with non-stop jokes looked down upon as lesser a lot of the time.
I won't disagree. It's definitely looked down upon, which is a shame because it's a perfectly fine form of comedy.
Yeah,
and I found it very entertaining. I thought it was very good. Maybe not my all-time favorite.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's your first time watching it. So
yeah, but like maybe a few more watches, I'll get really warm to it because maybe I just missed some jokes. You know,
I mean,
because it's non-stop.
It is non-stop. And it seems like a lot of people missed seeing this. This cost $1.8 million. How much do you think it made in the American box office?
1.8. Well, you said missed seeing this, so I'm presuming it didn't do too well. 20?
20 million.
Yeah.
The first number is right. This made $295,000.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, no one saw it.
Really?
But it's a cult classic. It's such a cult classic. There's 2 miniseries. One.
Yeah, there's like Netflix shows about this. Like, Paul Rudd's in this. Like, what? How did no one see this?
They were all unknowns at the time.
Oh, really?
Yep, they were all, like, if you have a look at the cast, the way that they are listed kind of shows you who was popular at the time. Camp counselor, top billed because she was doing a lot of stand-up.
Yeah.
David Hyde Pierce, who was the professor, known for Frasier, so he was in a sitcom, quite popular. Then, third listed is Molly Shannon, who's away from the entire cast for the whole film because they probably couldn't afford her to be on set too much, where she falls in love with an 8-year-old.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, and then Paul Rudd. But yeah, like that's kind of the order of popularity. Like none of these really were popular, which is amazing considering that probably 70% of the cast would go on to be very famous.
So it shows that this movie was quite influential in the end.
Yes. But yeah, there is a prequel series, 10 First Day of Camp, where they do not acknowledge how much older they are. It is amazing. And also features some great jokes. And then there's the sequel 10 years later, which is okay. It's okay. It's set in the 90s, so it's kind of funny that way. But it turns into like a political thriller sort of thing. It's very odd. That one's I think I've only seen it once.
I'd like to see it, because I liked the whole thing where they were like, let's meet up 10 years later. And it's like, they argue about the time to meet up.
Yeah.
And one guy's like, oh, I don't know about that time. I've got something on. It's like, you have something on 10 years later?
Yeah.
You know?
We'll have to commit to that because I've already moved something around twice and I really can't miss that.
Yeah.
That one appointment, yeah. All right, let's get over to Zoolander.
And Zoolander's my nostalgia baby. Because I have seen Zoolander and I like Zoolander.
You like it?
I love it. I love me some Zoolander.
There's the word.
I love is the recurring face joke. It's very like streamlined comedy though. It's like by the books comedy.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Wet Hot American Summer goes out of its way to break the rules.
Yes.
Zoolander stays within the rules quite well, but it doesn't like it goes by the book to make a good movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good because of that, because it follows the rules quite well. And like it's got the rule of threes, it's got recurring jokes, like has a villain that becomes a friend in the end. It has these things. I really love it. It's one of my favorites of all time for sure.
Yeah, I think the reason why it feels a bit more conventional is because it is pretty high budget for a comedy.
Yeah.
And like it was very well advertised. And it's also kind of kid-friendly, kinda. It's PG.
Yeah.
So it's kind of kid-friendly.
I mean, the only thing that's particularly bad is the orgy.
There is an orgy.
That they have.
Yeah.
That they have the big sex orgy, where afterwards the main character's like, when I saw her, like, between the two midgets or whatever, you know?
Yeah. But I saw this as a kid and I didn't really understand what any of that was anyway.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. A kid wouldn't understand that, which is the funny bit.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. But yeah, if you haven't seen Zoolander, it's about fashion and also child labor laws, which I always forget that's a part of this movie whenever I, like, rewatch it.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
It's about the fashion industry and how there's this corrupt corporation that's using kids to make clothing material. They manipulate this model, who is Zoolander, who is one of the, if not the greatest model in the model industry.
I would believe it, honestly.
With his iconic blue steel.
Oh, yeah.
A classic joke. And he goes through trials and tribulations. He has like a rivalry with another guy.
Wow.
Yes, Owen Wilson.
It only took us 195 episodes to finally do a fucking Owen Wilson movie.
Wow.
Wow.
So there's this big corrupt corporation and they're doing this whole thing where they're like, oh, we need to kill the, like, president of Malaysia.
Yes.
Because he wants to get rid of all this child labor. And so they're like, oh, we need someone really stupid to brainwash.
Yeah.
Specifically models. They do this a lot. specifically in canon, most high-profile assassinations are done by fashion models.
That flashback of John Wilkes Booth is like...
Yes.
He does the look at the end after killing Lincoln. It's great.
It's great. And they explain it by saying that they're the ultimate killing machines because they're super well-built because they have to look good.
Yep.
They can get in anywhere because they're famous models.
Yep.
And they follow orders because they're stupid.
Yeah.
Which Zoolander's like, no, they don't. And he's like, yes, you are. And he's like, oh, I guess I am.
Yeah. Which is funny because the character of Zoolander premiered in like the mid-90s during like the fashion awards. It was like a character that Ben Stiller would play on like these fashion awards. So he was kind of embraced by the fashion community by entirely making fun of all of them. Which is great.
Yes.
Which is great.
It's great. So he gets brainwashed. Meanwhile, there's this reporter. And the reporter's like, I gotta get to the bottom of this. So she follows him around. She finds out all about these evil goings on and tries to get him involved. Once he's finally involved... Oh, and Zoolander has a producer, which is very funny because he's like meant to be super problematic, but he's also a nice guy, ?
Yeah. I guess it's a joke on how most agents are gross.
Yes.
Because he's gross.
Yeah, he's disgusting. He has a competition with Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson keeps, like, winning awards. He beats him in, like, a fashion-off.
Yes, fashion-off.
Where they each have to do a catwalk thing and then copy each other.
Which features the best cameo in the movie, I think, with David Bowie.
Yes, David Bowie judges the whole thing.
Yeah.
He goes out with his friends to get ice frappuccino latte mochahitos or whatever they're called. And then they go have a bit of a fuel party where they spray fuel all over each other. They're just like a beauty car wash, you know, they're just lathering it on. They're like slow-mo waving these...
Slow-mo getting... the suds up, except it's not suds, it's gas.
It's gas for their car, and they just and then one of them lights a cigarette, and they all blow up.
Yep.
Which is iconic. And then Zoolander, of course, you know, gives up the model life, only to be brought back in so he could save the day.
No, it's a good hero's journey.
Yeah, and he saves the day by doing blue steel, but it's a different blue steel.
Magnum, yeah.
It's called the Magnum. But it's just blue steel, and he stops a projectile because he's so good looking.
He's got superpowers because of his looks. That's right.
Yeah. And it's good stuff.
It's a fun film. I think, like, it reminded me of how these movies aren't made anymore. Like, Wet Hot American Summer kind of is, because absurdist comedy will never go away because it's, like, so underground that, you know, it's so easy to make. Whereas a high-budget comedy like this, studios don't make them anymore because they just don't make money anymore. So it's a shame because they're great. These movies are great. They're just comedy. They just want to make you laugh. That's it.
It has a lot of details. Like at the start, they have a lot of just famous cameos.
A lot.
To talk about Zoolander. Specifically, Trump. Trump is there. Everyone's favorite actor / billionaire / worker exploiter / president / ex-president of the United States.
/ criminal, maybe.
/ under investigation for stealing documents and overall inciting riots. But allegedly.
Yeah, no, he's in this. That's the first note I wrote down was just Trump.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. Look, he's in heaps of movies around this time. He just shows up now and then. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, he's just there. Like, Natalie Portman's there, and she talks about, like, the one thing that would stop me, you know, dating him maybe was he was so good looking, you know, that would be a problem dating him, I guess.
Yep.
You know, which was quite funny.
That's a good one. Who else? The lead singer from Limp Bizkit shows up at one point. Like, there's so many cameos in this. Paris Hilton is just there.
Yeah, she goes like, looking good, Zoolander, and he's like, oh, thanks, Paris Hilton.
It's great. One of my... I don't even know if it is a cameo because I don't think he was famous at this point, but Patton Oswalt, who like very famous comedian. Recently, he voiced the Crow the Raven, in The Sandman. He shows up for like 2 seconds as a photographer guy, like, dance, monkey, dance. And it's like this...
Oh, yeah.
This comedian. It's like, oh, yeah, he's there. Cool. Great. He's here too.
There's a lot of cool things. Yeah, eventually they go to Owen Wilson to, like, hide away because everyone thinks he hates Owen Wilson, and he does, until they make up. And then they're best buds, and then they do drugs and have a big orgy together.
That's what I usually do when I meet new friends.
Yep.
Owen Wilson is amazing in this movie. He's so funny in this.
Yeah, he's great. He's like a model / hippie.
Yeah.
Who goes on lots of, like, overseas adventures.
Yeah.
And does lots of drugs.
Yeah.
Just copious amounts of drugs. One of his stories is like, I was falling off this mountain and I was about to die, and then I realized I'd just done heaps of heroin or something, and it's like, and none of it was actually real.
Yeah. I think it was like, and then I realized how much ayahuasca I've been doing over the last 6 days, and I was like, oh, that's probably what this is.
Oh, the scene where they encounter a computer and it just turns into, like, Planet of the Apes. Let's go, burr, 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 burr.
They're just going, ooh, and, like, smashing the computer. The computer joke, I wonder if kids nowadays would even get it, the idea of, like, how do you turn on a computer? Because I remember those Macintosh, they were hard to turn on. I never knew where the button was. I always just got someone else to turn it on for me. Where was the button? I don't know.
He gets mind-washed by the evil doer. Is it Will Ferrell?
Yeah, Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Will Ferrell. He's like this world-famous fashion artist who is evil and, like, exploiting child labor for his fashion. And, like, he brainwashes Zoolander by playing Relax, Don't Do It, like, that song specifically. And that ties in later on because it found out that he used to be the, like, lead guitarist of that before they got famous. And, yeah, he uses that to brainwash him. And there's a scene where it goes back and forth playing the song and playing a different song.
Yep.
And Zoolander goes back and forth between doing high-stakes karate moves to snap the neck of the Malaysian president and not.
Yeah, no, that was quite fun. I'm looking through my notes. I can't find anything where maybe it's a bit weird laughing at the agent basically harassing random women nowadays.
Oh, yeah, that's true. At one point he says butt squeeze and then butt squeezes a woman.
And he's also played by Ben Stiller's dad, who is known for playing pretty sleazy characters. He's great. It's cool. At first I was like, it could have been funny if he pulled double duty and played the agent, but also played the dad of Zoolander. I was like, that could be nice if you get your actual dad to play your character's dad, but they got John Voight instead, who has a great line where he's like, what? I'm not some sort of professional TV and movie actor.
He's great, although that would have been really funny if he was like, you were always like a son to me, or something. Like, he says that, and then it's like his dad, on the other hand, is just him, like... And they have this whole thing where Zoolander's like, I always thought of you as my real dad, or something like that, you know.
That would have been pretty funny.
That could have been good. But yes, I did like their choices in the end.
Do I have many quotes? All right. Owen Wilson says that before Matthew McConaughey ever did.
I would say Owen Wilson is so hot right now.
That's great. Yeah, I love comedy where it's whenever a character shows up, one character always has the same reaction, always says the same thing whenever that character's on screen.
So whenever Will Ferrell sees Owen Wilson, he's like, oh, that guy's so hot right now.
It's great. It's funny every single time.
Yeah, it's good.
I love that.
What is this? School for Ants?
Yep, that's a classic.
Classic line.
Look out, she's got an egg. Also a classic line.
Oh, yeah, because there's a protest that comes up. It, like, throws and hits the dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's something I forgot to mention with Wet Hot American Summer. Every time someone threw something in that movie, it was the same crashing sound effect in the background.
Oh, yeah, it always made the same crashing pot sound effect every time.
That was great.
Oh, there was also a Wilhelm scream at one point for no apparent reason. They just threw it in there.
The Derek Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good.
And other things.
And who want to learn to do other stuff good too.
Yes. We even see baby Zoolander.
Yeah, he's already got his first model look.
Yes, which was pretty cringe, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that CGI is probably the worst in the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, they don't actually use CGI, I don't think, except for that bit. So it's a little cringe, but... Yeah.
We get the tragic backstory of the reporter. When I was in 7th grade, I was the fat kid in my class. Ew! Which, actually, maybe that doesn't hold up how they would make fun of bulimic, but also it's the characters being dumb, so no, it works. It's fine. It's not.
That's the thing. Like, the characters are specifically very insensitive and the worst.
Oh, one line that I forgot came from this movie. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Oh, yeah. Will Ferrell's like, he's just making the same face over and over again.
Yeah. I forgot that was from this movie. That's such a good line.
That is a good line.
Oh, and then at the very end, we see all the kids at his school, and all the boys have frosted tips. Like, all the blonde boys have frosted tips. It's great.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it. I love the style.
I mean, how more 2001 can you get?
You can't. Maybe
it's impossible.
Maybe not impossible because we haven't seen Extreme Days.
That's true. We haven't seen it, but that's pretty 2001.
I think that one might be all.
Yep, that's all I have to really say about it until we get to maybe the categories.
Yeah,
might have a few words.
No, I reckon it's a good one. It's definitely a goodie from me.
Yes, definitely a goodie from me. Maybe more of a goodie from me.
Oh, we're at a crossroads.
Because, really, I'd put them probably both as goodies, but I kind of think it'd be good if I was supporting Zoolander and you were supporting Wet Hot American Summer. We got a tense pitched, two movies battling in the arena, I just think that's a good narrative for the podcast, really, so I'm going to go with that.
A narrative? What do you mean? We don't come up with narratives for this show.
Well, let's, you know what? These comedy movies has inspired me to mention the comedy that I'm trying to achieve in the moment that I'm trying to achieve it. So, I'm going to be back in Zoolander. I think it's the better movie.
Well, I think that Wet Hot American Summer is the better movie, so I'm going to be back in that horse. How do you like them apples? Oh, wait, before we get into the battle, though, Zoolander has 64% on Rotten Tomatoes and 80% audience score.
Yes.
So higher across the board than Wet Hot.
Yes. Still a higher audience than critic reviews, but definitely way better critic reviews.
Yeah.
Still a bit low, though. Still lower than I thought for something that plays it pretty straight-laced for the most part.
I mean, it's a comedy. I don't know. Comedies...
Yep. It's confirmed that the critics don't have a sense of humor.
They don't. And we don't either when we're watching some comedies. But this one, we do. This cost $28 million. What do you think it made?
Well, I know this one did pretty well because of said advertising and other things and the fact that I've actually seen it before. So I'm going to say, 300.
300 mil.
That's my rough guess. I don't know how much around that, but somewhere around there.
It made just below $61 million.
Ooh, much lower than I thought it did. I thought it did much better than that.
Well, because 9/11.
Oh, right.
So, people probably weren't ready for this level of comedy.
That's true.
I don't know. You want something more wholesome, I think.
It still made a lot of money compared to other comedy films.
Yes, and the home release as well would have gone absolutely bonkers because everyone's seen this film, it feels like. Also, did you notice there are skylines of New York in this movie? And this was shot before 9/11, but the Twin Towers are nowhere to be seen. Ben Stiller made a pretty big choice because he is also the director. He made a pretty big choice to, just remove them from the skyline, which if you read reviews at the time might be why the critic score is so low because it kind of split them down the middle. Some saying, oh, that's a bit Why would you do that? That feels a bit weird.
Yeah.
To just remove them and then other people being like, oh.
Yeah, no one wants to be reminded of the current disaster that happened, like, a month or two ago, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, no, he really had a decision on his hands that, either way.
Yeah. No, I think he was definitely right to remove them.
Yeah, that is, great movie.
William Shakespeare is known for writing many different styles of plays.
He did tragedy, he did comedy. He did tragedy mixed with comedy.
But he never did science fiction.
From the mind of Rob Lloyd and the pen of Keith Gow comes a play that aims to fix that. Shakespeare Aliens. It's James Cameron's Aliens, live on stage in the style of William Shakespeare.
After a hit run of shows during the start of the year, we're back this October for the Melbourne Fringe Festival.
Join us for an hour of action, tension, and puppetry as our cast of characters try to escape the horrors of LV-426.
Featuring performances from friends of the show Cassandra Hart, Danny McGinley.
Oh my god!
The two voices you're hearing right now.
Hi, we're Zach and Law.
As well as direction from frequent guest Rob Lloyd.
As an oldie, I take offence to that.
And sound design from one of the hosts of this show.
Do I do commercial radio promo voice?
No.
Shakespeare Aliens at the Melbourne Fringe Festival. That's October 11th to October 15th, 9 p.m. at Gasworks Theatre.
Head to melbournefringe.com.au for more, or check out the link in the episode description.
All right. Shall we get into the bonus battle then?
Let's get into the bonus battle.
Bonus battle.
It's pretty well documented on the bonus battles we've done before on the main show, and then the many more we've done over on Patreon. If you want more bonus battles, there are so many on Patreon, it's redonkulous.
It's, I wouldn't use the word redonkulous.
Why?
But only because I wouldn't use that word.
Oh.
Because it's the correct word.
Oh, okay. I mean, there is a bonus battle up there right now between 3 Disney movies.
Unless it was delayed because of complications. But there's definitely is or is not a bonus battle there.
If you think this is loose, I assume, we haven't recorded it yet, I assume that one's going to be even looser. So
yeah, that one, it's going to be interesting.
But we famously don't come up with topics for the bonus battle, because how it works is we have topics, and then we put points towards those topics for each movie. But we don't come up with the topics beforehand, but I did actually. I wrote one down, only because you said last year on our bonus battle between 3 Men and a Baby and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles that every bonus battle should have the category of family friendliness.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Family.
So I just wrote that down on my list because I remember that you'd said that.
That's absolutely a great category, and I agree. I came up with 7.
I took a sip. I almost did a spit take.
And that's funny because someone almost does it in Wet Hot, I believe, or something. I have the 7 M's of movies.
What?
The 7 M's of movies. You know how movies start with an M?
They do.
Letter?
But I prefer to call them films, but that's fine.
Well, don't worry, because with family friendness, this goes...
Oh, yeah, good point.
So it could be films, because that goes FM, right? And it goes FMMMMMMM. All right, my 7 categories are music, mirth, moronicism,
yeah, okay, sure.
Make-up. But specifically make-up goes into, like, just general effects.
Okay.
As well, like special effects.
Yep.
Make-outs.
I feel like you came up with the idea and then the topics in that order.
No. Memes.
Mm-hmm.
And most memorable members made mega movies.
Yep.
Mostly Marvel.
I see what you're doing there, and I like it.
Most memorable members.
Yeah.
Made mega movies.
Yes.
Mostly Marvel.
Mostly Marvel. I see what you're doing there, and I like it. I like that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, no. That isn't the order I came up with them, but I reordered them so it sounded like it was better at the top, and they got more silly.
Excellent.
The second one was originally just memes.
Yeah, okay. Well, what do we start off with? Do we start with the family friendly, or do you want to start with an M?
Let's go music.
Okay, music.
I feel like that's a good one to start on.
Music for Zoolander. I reckon we start with that because music, big plot point in Zoolander.
Relax, don't do it. Murder the president of Malaysia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's some other good songs in that. I think there's a Wham song, Wake Me Up Before You Go. What a banger.
Oh, yes, when all the rich models, including Zoolander, go out to get their mocha frappuccino extra sugary latte bullshits, it plays The Jitterbug.
That's a classic, too.
I love that song. It was so good. Obviously, there was Relax, which is a banger.
Love to Love You, Baby by No Doubt. That's what a tune that one is.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's some good music.
It's a good soundtrack, yeah. It's kind of hard to go past so many 80s club bangers.
How are we rating these, by the way?
Out of 5?
Yes. And are we doing individuals, or are we just agreeing on a score for each of them?
I can't remember what we did last time.
I'm pretty sure we did separate ones, and it was a mess. So I'm going to say we're just going to agree on a score.
But we're both fighting for different movies.
Yeah, but I feel like we're both sane men, and also I don't care. So,
I don't care either. They're both good.
Exactly. So we can agree on things. So I think for music, Zoolander gets a nice 4 or something, maybe a 3.5. It was pretty good.
I think a 4. Well, because I'm looking at the soundtrack now, and one of the artists is called Orgy. They're an American rock band, and their name is Orgy. And because of that name, I think that's a bad name for a rock band.
I think the opposite. I think that's a great name and makes me want to go and look up their music.
They have been described as death pop.
Ooh.
Never mind, I love them, actually. That's a great genre mashup.
Wait, so what song of theirs was in the movie?
Faces. I don't know. I don't remember. It might be it would make sense if it's the orgy scene.
I don't know where that's either, but that's a good song. This is a good banger.
Yeah, I can't find where it is in the movie, but it's a solid song by the band Orgy.
I think 4, because it's not the perfect soundtrack. I feel like there could have been a little more there, but it had some real good choices, some iconic songs.
Yeah, I don't love the Beat It remix.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it. Just play the original.
Yeah, but they're all good choices. Wake Me Up is a song I regularly listen to. Relax is a song I listen to. They're all songs I listen to.
Yeah. All right, so a solid 4 for music, Zoolander. Wet Hot American Summer, less recognizable songs. I like the theme song, the opening kind of do-do-do-do-do-do, sort of thing. I love that. I love that the song ends with 2 songs made for the movie about a wet, hot American summer that don't have anything to do with what the film was about. I love that.
Yes. I listened to the credits, and at the very end of the credits, there's a song that plays, and then after that song plays, there's another one, which is an absolute banger of a song, which is just about going and go to go to a camp. It's a wet, hot summer.
Yeah.
And it's great, but it's why is this at the very, very end? People have left the theater by this point.
Well, there is the post-credit sequence 10 years later. There is that. So maybe some people stuck around. I don't know, but...
That's true. Yeah, I stuck around and I was rewarded with that banger of a song.
I think that's Summer in America by Mr. Blue and Chub Rock.
Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. It's great. It's a banger. Other than that, I didn't notice any of the other songs, so...
Yeah, here's my thing with the Wet Hot soundtrack. I don't listen to it outside of the movie, because they're not... they're good songs in the context of the film to set the picture of, the most corniest 80s thing you can imagine.
Yeah. They set the tone perfectly, which is props to them, but they're not iconic songs that everyone listens to.
No, although more people should hear. It's a wet, hot summer in America.
It's a wet, hot summer in America. Too hot to handle, too cold to hold.
Yeah, I reckon I'm feeling a 2.5, honestly.
I think a 2.5 is fair. A 2.5 is fair, because it does its job, but it doesn't, go beyond that.
Yeah.
But it's still good, and I feel it deserves that 0.5 just for Summer in America.
Yes, I would agree there.
The next one, let's go makeup.
Yup. Kind of unfair. One of these movies set at a summer camp, the other about the fashion industry.
Yeah, but for makeup, I mean just special effects in general.
Let's do Zoolander.
Yep.
It's pretty good. I mean, the costumes all look amazing.
Yeah, the costumes look amazing. I think the set design, they have the spa room.
Yeah.
Spa thing where it's this steel dungeon. You have the random nurses where one of them's super ugly but has giant boobs and ass.
I did not get what that was a reference. It might be a reference to something at the time, or it's just funny that this lady.
This is happening. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I liked how Zoolander had a boner in that scene that has nothing to do with makeup, but his boner starts dancing around.
Yep.
Yep. That's
a thing. It looked pretty big. So I reckon it's probably pretty high. Also, I love, I think Owen Wilson's got some sort of tan on the whole film, and it looks kind of greasy.
Oh, it looked good. It looked good. I like the whole makeup thing they do, where they have different costumes and in every scene. Zoolander is wearing a different outfit.
Pretty much, yeah.
And the evil villain's doing up these models in trash. Oh yeah, that's his whole thing he's doing. Is there's this new designer line of outfits that are all to do with the homeless and trash.
It is called a Derelict, which the first time I ever watched this movie, I laughed so hard at the first time they said Derelict.
Derelict.
Because it's very funny.
It's very good. It's very good. Because they're trying to persuade Zoolander to models so that they can get him to murder the president. So makeup's very good. I think the set design's very good. It all makes it very believable, and it's very fun.
I would agree. The thing, though, is you're also mentioning effects, and there are some dodgy CG effects in this.
Okay.
There's the baby's face. There's obvious green screen at the very end with the school, when they're kind of walking around the school and all that. That's pretty obvious sort of green screen.
Yeah, but wasn't that a set?
When they go outside, I'm I don't know. I don't know. It looks weird.
Well, yeah, and that's that whole ending. I'm going to put all that ending into a big bundle of that. So that's one thing, Sandro. Can you name anything else?
When Will Ferrell's head appears on random people, it looks dodgy as all heck, but it's also great. So
yeah,
that kind of adds to it for me. I think really it's just the ending that I don't think holds up well.
I think a 3.5 for this one.
3.5. Oh, but the sets are really good. I would go 4, thinking about it.
Yeah, you would go 4?
Just dock a point for the ending.
Yeah. That's fair. I like the set design. I think it's very good. Their money was well spent. It really brings this film together.
With Wet Hot, I mean, they didn't build sets. They filmed on location at a summer camp, so it looks...
but they had a lot of fun props. So they had a giant satellite.
Yes.
They had the scientific equipment to detect satellite, which consisted of 4 donuts on the top or whatever. 4 donuts
stacked on top of each other. Love it.
They had the constant, jumper swapping.
Yes. I think the costumes and the hair are all excellent. Because the thing with Wet Hot that I think is great as well is it feels like a movie that could have existed in the 80s. It's not like Stranger Things, which is the 80s, but kind of colored over with a nice polish, We're removing all the yuckiness of the 80s. With Wet Hot, there's a scene where they go to a crack house and get addicted to heroin. Yes. And it's gross. So, they don't shy away from any of the grossness of the 80s.
And they're all in, makeup. They're all in just costumes, just for the scene.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. They put in all that effort just for the scene. And the actor that plays Boyle in
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets replaced by a stunt actor for one scene, and then they cut back.
Which is so funny because he was riding the motorcycle earlier in the movie.
Yes.
He doesn't need a replacement stunt driver. It's very funny. I fucking love that joke.
Yeah. The guy who's running back to fuck the girl, he gets, like, super bloodied and, like, messed up and everything, and then he runs to help the kids, and, like, they cut away and cut back, and he's perfectly fine.
Yeah, he just goes in the water and it all washes off, I guess.
Yeah.
Ken Mariano, he's amazing in this movie. Also, amazing piece of practical effects. The can of vegetables, as voiced by the guy who does Bob's Burgers. Oh my god, he does the same voice and everything, and please never do a different voice ever, because it's amazing.
Yeah.
The can of vegetables.
It's great.
If you want to know more about the can of vegetables, you're going to love the prequel.
Yeah, no, and, like, if we're going by special effects, they have that whole scene with the wind, where the weird robot guy summons the wind. Also, he has weird items as well. There's just a lot of aesthetics and a lot of details. I think this is a very detailed movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, the scene where Elizabeth Banks has barbecue sauce all over her face.
Yes.
Great makeup.
And every time they cut back, like they cut away and then cut back, she has more grease on her.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed that, but it just got increasingly worse.
Yeah.
Oh, it was incredible. I loved it. There's a lot of detail, and I think that's what pushes this up.
Yeah, no.
I think this also gets a 4 as well.
That barbecue sauce looked tasty.
You want to give her a big old lick?
I mean, it's Elizabeth Banks. 4 for Wet Hot, I agree.
I don't agree, only because you just said you wanted to lick Olivia Banks. But
all right, what's the next cat? We're just gonna move on.
Okay. Let's go family friendliness.
She's attractive, all right? Yeah, family friendliness. Zoolander is I saw that as a kid.
Yeah.
So
there is a big orgy.
Yeah, but you don't see anything.
Yeah, it's like your family-friendly orgy.
Like, everyone, because, like, we get all those shots of them orgasming, but you don't even know that that's really what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just kind of like, ugh, ooh. It's, like, part of the comedy as well. The only real thing is that they, like, mention afterwards the girl was getting double-timed or whatever. So that's the only thing, but as a kid, yeah, I also didn't get it. So, you know, I think it's pretty family friendly.
Yeah, there is the agent, a bit gross.
Yes.
And yeah, the boner is probably the worst in the film.
Oh, yeah, it's very sexual. There's a lot of sexual jokes in this film.
Kinda. Well, like innuendos, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
It's no worse than, like, your average sitcom.
No. Oh, absolutely. And I mean, going by other 2001 comedies, it was tame.
Oh, Josie and the Pussycats was tamer,
Yes.
but this is probably the second tamest comedy we've done this year.
Yeah, compared to certain monkey movies. I'll give it pretty high.
I reckon it's very family friendly. Yeah.
What do you reckon? What would you give it then?
3.5.
I would also give it a 3.5.
Excellent.
Because there is an active orgy going on.
Yeah.
So I can't exactly give it a 4 for family friendliness, but it's the most family friendly orgy on screen, I'd say.
And we're not saying that movies need to be family friendly. I don't know why family friendliness was something you added to the bonus to every bonus battle, because I disagree that that's a point in, like, why movies should be good.
I don't think if it's good, I think successful, you know? You gotta get that money, you gotta get that dosh.
That's true.
When I'm looking in a movie, I'm like, how much money did this make? I need that dosh.
Yeah,
you know?
and for a movie to make money, it does need to appeal to nagging children. Wet Hot is not kid-friendly, but I did watch it as a kid. So...
I mean, it's not too bad. There's a lot of make-out and quite a bit of swearing, I think.
It's definitely not made for kids.
No. It's all the adults are pretty adult-focused.
Yeah, most of the movie is about, like, wanting to fuck people.
I quote, unquote, she definitely wants to fuck me. Why else would she talk to you? No offense.
Yeah. That was a good moment.
So, like, it does pull swears quite a lot. It swears quite a lot. It's quite an adult film.
It is definitely an adult film. And also, as a kid, the first time I watched it, I found it funny, but there was a lot of jokes that I grew up being like, oh, that is funny. The more that you know about, like, the 80s and these sorts of movies as well. So in terms of family friendliness, yes, it's not really appropriate for a lot of kids, but also they won't get a lot of this because they...
Yeah, exactly. It's another orgy situation where... which I'm so glad I get to use that sentence.
But they're not going to get it in the sense of it might impede their enjoyment, is more what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we're not talking about family enjoyment, are we, Sandro? We're talking about family friendliness.
That's right. Technically, Ben-Hur is very family friendly, but kids will fall asleep in 10 minutes watching that one.
Yes, correct. Yeah, it's like, would I take my grandmother to see this film?
Your grandmother would love this movie. What are you talking about?
See, there you go. Because family's not necessarily younger, right? It could be older family as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably like 1.52. I don't know. I love this movie, but it's not like there's a whole scene where a guy humps a fridge.
Yeah, but like he hugs, like he's just humping it away, you know?
Oh, it's very wholesome. It's a wholesome fridge.
It's a wholesome humping.
Yeah.
I would even go so far as a 2.5.
2.5?
Maybe even a 3.
Maybe. The whole film is very adult, so I just...
It's very adult-orientated, though.
It depends. Like, family friendliness, are we talking a family, it's like your 2 or however many parents are watching it? Like, how old are the kids?
They're like 8 and 10.
Okay, because I would say that this is fine, like... I think I saw it when I was, like, 14. So,
yeah.
You know.
So, like, you've got you and your partner... You've got your 2 kids, and you got your 2 grandparents.
Oh, your grandparents are in the house.
Yeah. This is a family, so you have to go both ends, which is why I'm saying 2.5, because it's good for half the family.
Wait, my parents or my because I have watched this with my parents, and my dad thought it was great, my mum did not get it, and it was honestly added to the experience. She was like, I don't get this joke.
Okay.
It was great.
I'll say yes. Sorry. It was more like your parents and your kids' grandparents. I should say.
Yeah, gotcha.
You got 3 generations. You could take your grandparents as well, but that might skew it a bit too much into the adult. They don't want to go see this. They don't give a shit.
I don't know. It's hard because it is an adult comedy, but
I say 2.5 because it's directly down the middle. Because the adults will get it, the kids will be bored.
Probably they'll laugh at the singular fart joke.
Yeah.
I reckon 2.5 is fine. Yeah, sure.
2.5, yeah.
What's next?
That way you won't ban family friendliness from my list of things.
It's like if we do 2 R-rated gore movies and we include family friendliness as a topic.
Yeah, well, that's great. Mirth. Let's talk about mirth, because that's a big thing. The comedy of these films, the big juiciness.
So mirth in the dictionary is described as amusement, especially as expressed in laughter. So it's kind of like a laughter meter that you want here.
Correct, yes. How much did you laugh during each of these films? Let's start with Zoolander, I guess.
Yeah, we'll start with Zoolander. Bits and pieces here and there. It was more of a... Oh, yeah, ha-ha. You know, it wasn't like an active ha-ha-ha-ha. Not that I laugh like that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you laugh like Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a super loud kind of genuinely hysterical laugh. It was just kind of like, oh, yeah, ha-ha-ha.
Ha-ha. Or maybe a...
Yeah, a lot of that.
Like a lot of breathing out the nose quite heavily. Yeah, it's a very amusing film.
Yes.
Not necessarily funny, although I think one of my favorite scenes is the scene where he just turns to the president and starts speaking another language.
Yep.
I remember the first time I saw that, I found that quite funny.
Yeah.
And I've remembered that ever since. It's just a very memorable joke.
I did. I think I laughed a couple times. Mainly at just lines that I'd forgotten. You're more dead to me than your dead mother. I was like, that's good.
Oh, yeah. That's a good line. I liked, as you mentioned, Will Ferrell's. Like, he's just making the same face every time.
That was great.
I feel like, yeah. Like, I laughed out loud because I didn't remember that one.
Yeah.
And I laughed at the Planet of the Apes joke.
Oh, I laughed. That would have been the hardest laugh for me, was that sequence.
Yeah, because we've watched Planet of the Apes so recently, so it was recently in mine.
We've done that recently. We've done in 2001, well, the sequel to 2001, but we both watched 2001, I think, 2 years ago.
Yeah. So it was very funny. So I think there was some good hearty laughs.
Yeah.
Could it be better, though?
I mean, it's not as consistently funny. There are some jokes that don't land, whereas I think every joke in Wet Hot lands for me, but that's just my sense of humor. Also, with Zoolander, one thing I noticed was there was a lot of space for laughs, which makes me think maybe watching this in a group would be great.
Yes.
Because there are spaces in the movies where characters are like, given looks.
Yeah, they're just standing there looking left and right while you're laughing.
Exactly.
Sort of thing.
Yeah,
this is built for an audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And I feel like it's an experience. Without that, it's a little less, because you laugh and then you're done laughing and the characters are still waiting for you to finish. Whereas there's in a group, everyone's cracking up.
Yeah, and also we're wearing headphones, so even if we were laughing, not really an issue with my noise-cancelling headphones on.
Yeah,
I can't hear myself laughing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this one gets a nice 3.5.
I would agree with 3.5. I think it's a
Yeah.
solid. I mean, that might even be what I rate the movie in general. No, I think Zoolander's a 4 out of 5 for me. For Wet Hot though, I'm like, if I'm watching this in a group setting, non-stop laughter from me at least.
Yeah. This very much appeals to your sense of humor.
If I'm watching this by myself, I'm still laughing pretty consistently. Not super loud, but louder than Zoolander.
Yeah. I definitely remember distinctly cracking up at the most awkward conversation thing, where they were just having the most awkward conversation. Oh, yeah, and when they threw the child out of the van. That caught me completely off guard and was really funny. Because this guy's just murdered 2 children.
The setup there is Paul Rudd. He lets a kid unsupervised drive a motorboat while he's making out with Elizabeth Banks. And then the kid drowns. He doesn't save him. And the kid's buddy is like, I'm gonna go tell the camp director. So he kills that kid. And then he does it again.
Yeah. So, then later on, he lets another kid die, and the exact same thing happens. Oh, it's great. It's really good. The meth lab was really unexpected.
Oh, fuck, I love that scene. It's so funny.
I love the wind at the very end of the movie, because it made no fucking sense what the fuck was going on.
Yep.
And it just went for ages. That scene is very long, and it's great.
I consistently laugh with the arts and crafts teacher played by Molly Shannon. Her just breaking down and crying, and this 8-year-old boy trying to help her, to the point where they get together at the end is just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it's jam-packed full of jokes. We can't even talk about all of them.
No.
They keep swapping clothes at some point, the 2 love interests.
Oh, that was great.
They're like, I'm too cold, here, have my jumper. And it's like, well, now I'm cold. And it's like, here, have my shirt. And then he's like, oh, wait, that's my good shirt. I need that back. And she's like, now? And he's like, yes, I need that back now. So she's taking it off again. And it's like,
that's great.
What is even happening?
Oh, there's just some random lines that got me like, well, we made it to the end of camp in one piece, aside from a couple students who are lepers. What?
And then you're going, ha ha.
What about when, I think it's in the awkward conversation, she's like, oh, thank you, Henry, for helping me out. And he's like, please, call me Henry.
Yeah. That's the awkward conversation stuff. She says lots of things like, she's like, oh yeah, I love astrophysics. It's my favorite hobby. And he's like, oh yeah, what's your favorite astrophysicist? And she's like, and he's like, just one, just name one. What's the time?
Speaking of those 2, the scene where he's like, oh, my dean's not gonna give me the tenure, and she's like, well then, I'm gonna tell the dean a piece of my mind, and he just gives her the dean's address.
Yeah, Yeah, she's like, what's his address? And he's like, oh my god, you're actually helping me out? Oh my god. It's 27th Driver Avenue. You know, he gives exact details to the dot.
That's great.
Yeah, it's very good. Another favorite scene is when she is in the cafeteria and she's like naming names.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
But it really felt like they just told the actor, all right, start naming names of children. And she's just like making up names on the spot. And it's so left field and like doesn't have any. But that one really hit me. I thought was very funny.
That one's good. Oh, just that scene where they're like, the kids are gonna go over the lake, the rapids, and we just like randomly cut to them. The boat is still, it's not moving.
Yeah, it's not moving. It's
great, and they're all freaking out. The call is coming in from inside the camp. It's great.
Yeah, and then they just freak out and just start throwing shit. Yeah, it's just jam packed full of jokes. I think this is 4.5.
Nah, it's a 5, mate. Nah, it's a 5.
I think you would definitely say it's a 5.
It's a 5. Like, name a joke that didn't work. Because I got none. They're all hits for me. I can't think of a single joke that doesn't work.
Oh yeah, I was going to be like, more the gay jokes.
Yeah.
That's kind of to make fun of how homophobic those old movies were.
And then they buy them a Shea Lounge.
Yeah, which is great. Oh, it's so wholesome. Yeah, no, I'll give it to you 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's the funniest movie of all time, baby!
I'll give you 5 out of 5 if you raise Zoolander to a 4.
Look, I would rate that movie a 4 in general, so sure, yeah.
There we go. Because I think Zoolander is pretty funny as well. But not quite as funny, you're right.
I'm so old, I didn't go to school in the Stone Age, I went to school in the Ice Age.
Yeah, I can't really argue with you if you just start naming a scene and I just start laughing because I remember that scene existed. Can't really argue with that. All right, we're into the dumb ones.
The dumb ones? Let's do some dumb ones.
Moronicsism.
So what do you mean by that?
How dumb the characters were in the film.
Oh, okay, how dumb the characters were. Well, Zoolander, they're all idiots but the reporter, basically.
Yes.
And even her is like, she's kind of silly.
Yeah, she's very dumb. But also, Zoolander's secretly intelligent, though. He is multilingual.
He is.
He's a genius when it comes to modeling and stuff because he, like, does her hair correctly and, like, things. So he does have a bit of smarts, actually.
He's a little smart. Little bit. And also, Owen Wilson, he's quite woke, if you will. You know, he's quite a woke dude.
Is he? Why?
He does drugs, and he's very awake.
Okay.
No, he knows a lot about the world and various experiences.
He's very traveled, yes. He's very wise in travel.
Man, the word woke has been absolutely ruined by the internet over the last 4 years.
Yeah. I was about to say, what do you mean by woke, Sandro?
The old meaning, before it became a buzzword for the right wing.
Yeah.
So, are we rating it high if it's really dumb, or low if it's really dumb?
High if it's really dumb.
So, I mean, Zoolander's like 4.5 then, right?
4.5? All right. I'd say a 4. I'd say a 4 because it's got some intelligence.
Yeah, the reporter, I guess. Yeah, true.
Only because, like, everything else we've rated a 4 except family friendliness.
All right, yep, 4 for Zoolander. Wet Hot, I mean, they're kids.
Yep.
But they look like adults. So it's kind of hard to really picture them as kids.
Oh, yeah, but literally the girl is like, I'm a done 16-year-old, I'm not going to be with you, I'm going to be with the other guy. Here's the thing, Sandro, in the previous movie, several people showed real intelligence.
Yes.
In this movie, every character is shown to be deliberately dumb.
I can't think of... Oh, well, the smart characters who save the day, kinda, except it's the superhero guy. They're still... I guess they're still dumb. The Canadian guy with the suspenders, I don't know, he seemed kind of switch on.
Explain. Elaborate on the Canadian guy with the
suspenders. Well, he was there with, like, the science crew, and he makes some jokes.
Oh, yeah, he's like, I have a friend in there, I don't want them to die, and they're like, you have a friend? And he's like, nope.
Actually, no, I don't. He was kind of smart, he saved the day.
Okay, they built this machine, right?
Yeah.
With donuts attached to it, and then they use a D20 to move the falling obstacle.
Yep.
In the end, they don't even move it, it's the wind that does it.
Yeah. but he still gets the award. So technically, the scientist guy is shown to be smart by the system, and therefore he is smart.
I would say he's Zoolander smart because he's also very bad at conversations.
Oh, he is quite bad at conversations.
Like, he's smart in some areas and dumb in other, and also keeps breaking pots off screen.
That is very funny every time.
Yes.
The guy from Vietnam, he fought in Vietnam. If you fought in Vietnam, you got to be smart. Like the guy who fought in Vietnam, he's always talking about how he fought in Vietnam. The camp counselor, not the camp counselor, the camp director, she has to run this shit show, so she's got to be at least slightly smart.
Yeah, but she also just lets the kids fucking make out with the girls. Like, she lets 2 innocent boys drown and then 2 other ones get thrown away. I don't think she's a very good director.
She doesn't know about that. She just can't count, you know? She just doesn't have the
So
roll
you're saying
call.
the camp counselor cannot count how many kids they have?
Oh, no.
I don't think she's a smart character, Sandro.
Oh, no, you got me there.
Yeah, she can't keep track of kids. She's letting one murder another. Like, I think she's I think she's kind of dumb. She also drives a car to let her camp counselors do hard drugs.
Oh, there's the scene where the 2 adults don't know where to go to get books.
Yes. Yeah. They are selectively dumb, but they still dumb in areas, but smart in other ones. I also think a 4. Maybe even a 4.5, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So 4.5 for Wet Hot American Summer.
There we go.
We got 2 left or 3 left?
We got 3 left. We got
left.
a few more, so we gotta go quickly. Speed round, the makeouts round. Pew, pew, pew. All right, which was your favorite makeouts of Zoolander? I liked the orgy scene where they were licking her shoulders.
Yeah, that's not a makeout. If it's a makeout, it needs mouth to mouth. No, that doesn't count. I think they kiss at one point, though, so it's not a complete 0, but it might be like a 1. I mean, there is an orgy scene so that there's implied making out, but, you know.
Well, again, they make out with her shoulders, which is still making out, Sandro.
That's like a third of a makeout.
Yeah, but that's still making out. So I'm giving this a 1.3.
No, it's gotta be point. Fuck it. Well, yeah, 1.3.
1 point. We can do 1.5 if you want.
1.3. No, 1.3.
1.3.
Wet Hot American Summer is like mostly like whenever there's not a joke on screen, there's 2 people making out on screen.
I'd say 5 out of 5 for making out. Because the movie opens with Paul Rudd, heavy tongue, the lead actress.
I'm pretty sure if you like compile every makeout in this movie, the prequel and the sequel, every main cast member makes out with each other.
Yes.
Pretty sure. Pretty certain that probably happens.
So 5 out of 5. We have memes.
Now, this is hard, because one of these movies not many people have seen.
Yeah, which unfortunately I think makes it a biased category. But so is makeouts. So
yeah, true.
Which really, I think Zoolander should be a 1, but it's funny if it has a 0.3.
Zoolander,
Zoolander.
I mean, at the time, it was incredibly memed. At the time...
You've got 2 iconic memes.
Yeah.
That are still occasionally used. So Hot Right Now.
Yeah.
And What Is This? A Something for Ants.
That one is incredibly popular. I would also add, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills onto that, because I've heard that, like, everywhere.
Yeah. That's less of a meme, but definitely still a meme because people say it. It's a quote.
Yeah, more of a quote.
Yeah.
And also, like, so many dads love doing Zoolander impressions.
Oh, yeah. As a solid dad meme.
Yeah.
But definitely I think the iconic, just for memes, specifically meme culture, I think that's So Hot Right Now, and of course, What Is This? Or Something for Ants.
Those are, pretty big ones.
Very iconic memes.
And just Owen Wilson as a person.
Yeah, Owen Wilson is in this film, and he is a meme.
He is a meme. He's also a great actor, but he is also a meme.
Yes. Well, I think it goes to show what a great actor he is, that he is just in our pop culture so heavily, because he's such a great actor.
I'm feeling a 4.
Yeah, I'm also feeling a 4.
Wet Hot American Summer, I quote it sometimes.
Yes,
but
I think it is memeable, but unfortunately, because no one saw it.
Yeah.
It hasn't made waves in meme-age.
No, it's popular with comedians. I know that a lot of my comedian friends have seen it, but a lot of my normal friends have not. So I don't even know.
I certainly think it's memeable.
The can of vegetables.
Yes.
is a giant meme. I feel like the scene where they go into town could become like an It's Garbage Day sort of scene.
Yeah, I think the when the scientist guy is talking about the meteor thing at the very start, he's like, nothing you need to know about yet. And then it goes, dun, dun, dun. I think could be a great thing, just yet. Dun, dun, dun.
True. Oh, no. One thing is popular in this movie.
Oh.
And we didn't even mention it in the jokes part, but it's like one of the funniest jokes in the movie is when Paul Rudd is told to clean up after himself. And he does the teenager, he's just like flopping his way around the tables and the...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
That is actually memed. Because it's Paul Rudd and he's the most, like, super famous.
Paul Rudd is a meme. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. I think it has a lot of meme potential that hasn't been used, but it's still not being memed that much.
That's true. Meme potential, I think, is good.
And then finally, the best category, most memorable members made mega movies, mostly Marvel. We have Zoolander.
Who's in Marvel? Well, Owen Wilson's in Loki.
And Loki is really good.
Loki is one of the I think I preferred the Hawkeye show, but Loki was, like, really good.
I'd say Loki is better than Hawkeye.
Nah, Hawkeye is great. Although Florence Pugh's in it, so I'm biased. Is Ben Stiller in any Marvel stuff? No, he's not.
I don't think so. But this is mostly Marvel. So I'm going with, did they make good, like, careers in mega movies after?
Everyone in Zoolander already had a career, though.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, wait. No, not all. Christine Taylor didn't, like, she did a couple movies after this, but kind of fell off.
Yeah, no. I'm saying, did these mostly memorable members... Did they do mega movies after this? Like Marvel, technically not a movie, but still, like, in that franchise. Like, did this boost their careers by being in this?
Ben Stiller, 100%. I mean, he was already popular, but I think as a director, he got a lot more to do after this.
But he wasn't really a member of this film. He was the creator.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good point. It's a fair point. It definitely boosted his career. But we're talking about the big fame stars that you watch this film and you go, whoa, they were in this film. Because there's that comedy guy with the scene with the dance monkey dance you mentioned.
Patton Oswalt, I mean, he got huge after this.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a big contender.
The evil DJ is played by Justin Theroux, who's in one of my favorite TV shows of all time, The Leftovers. He's also a great writer and director.
There you go.
He's just in this.
I think Owen Wilson is the only other one I can think of that's really...
Yeah, well, up until this point, Owen Wilson had done a lot of, like, smaller stuff. Like he was in Michael Bay's Armageddon.
Because then he went on to do... Oh, I mean, they were both in Night at the Museum, weren't they?
Yep, that came after this. Yeah, Night in the Museum.
Yeah. They were both in it, and they were both lead characters.
Yeah,
that's crazy. There you go.
But Owen, yeah, a lot of his bigger roles did come after this. I mean, the Royal Tenenbaums is an option later on in 2001, which is kind of the arty comedy that he did, because he's known for either doing incredibly mainstream memes,
yes,
and arty stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, Mila Jovovich went on to do Resident Evil. She's the Russian.
Right, yeah, the Russian lady.
She went on to be the main character in, like, the 400 Resident Evil movies they made.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. I'd say a 3.
Wait, Trump went on to be president.
Yeah, but he wasn't really, like, a cast member of the film.
No, true,
right?
True.
He was I'm not counting guest appearances. I guess that would cut out that
would cut out Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt, unfortunately. But also I don't count Trump, because Also, he didn't go on to make movies afterwards. He became the president, which is different. But we could say this movie did contribute to that.
Yeah.
But he is disqualified because he's not a member.
He's not a member of the cast. So, yeah, then it would be Owen Wilson, Mila Jovovich. I mean, Will Ferrell, he was already, like, SNL, he was huge. Anchorman came after, but he was still popular at the time, I reckon. Still really popular.
3 out of 5.
I think 3 is fair.
So Wet Hot, obviously Paul Rudd.
He's Ant-Man.
He's Ant-Man. He is part of the Avengers.
Yep. He's also one of the funniest and nicest guys
in the world.
So, yeah, like, he is great.
Big ups to him. Seeing him, I was like, holy shit, that's Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
He's in this shit.
Speaking of Marvel, we got Rocket Raccoon, Bradley Cooper.
Oh, yep.
He's in this. He's barely in this. He comes back for the prequel. He doesn't for the sequel. He gets recast in 10 years later. They make up a funny line saying he got, like, his nose done. It's a whole new actor.
Yeah.
But he was filming Guardians 2 when that came out, I think. So, fair enough.
Yeah, no. So, big stuff.
Mm-hmm. You've got Elizabeth Banks, went on to write and direct the entire Pitch Perfect series.
Yep.
She's in so many amazing movies, Spider-Man trilogy. She was in a movie recently that I saw in the film festival called Call Jane, where someone passed out in the theater during an abortion sequence. She's great.
The guy who plays Boyle from 99.
Yeah.
What's his name? What's the actor?
Joe Lo Trugello, yeah?
Joe. My boy Joe. When I saw him, I was like, Boyle! Boyle's in this! Oh my god! I've written it down, Boyle. I should have looked up the actor's name, but I just wrote down Boyle!
Yeah. Well, he's in a sketch group with a lot of the other people in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they all kind of came up together.
I just thought it was great to see him.
Yeah, no, it's him. It's the director who... He usually stars in a lot of the stuff he does, but he's not in this, interestingly enough. It's him. The guy that plays Coop also wrote the movie.
Yeah.
And Ken Marino as well. They all make heaps of stuff together. They made a great sitcom called Children's Hospital, which is one of the funniest sitcoms ever. Highly recommend watching that. They made with Ben Stiller, they made a parody of The Bachelor called Burning Love, which is fucking hilarious. Instead of giving the contestants roses, they're like, ma'am, will you have my hose? It's dumb. It's really dumb. And Ben Stiller's there as like the 3-time Bachelor winner or something stupid. It's great.
Oh yeah, I forgot in Zoolander they have Mr. Fabioso there for one scene getting an award, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, but does say mostly Marvel, Sandro. Because we are Marvel simps, as it's well known.
Yeah, sometimes.
Just mostly you.
What?
I
mean, I watch it all.
And
Sure.
there is 2 main Marvel characters in this film.
In this film over Zoolander, yeah, Paul Rudd and Bradley Cooper.
So I'm thinking 4, maybe even 4.5, but that might be pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the entire cast went on to do better things.
Yeah.
Like, some of them... The guy that plays JJ with, like, the longer hair, he's great, but he doesn't do much.
But I think it's surprising, seeing as this doesn't seem to be such a big film to watch things, that these, like, main actors that I see nowadays just everywhere.
Oh, Amy Poehler from Parks and Rec.
Oh, yeah,
She's in this, as well as one of the dance people alongside Bradley Cooper. She's huge.
Yeah.
She's huge now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that character? What's the person doing there? What?
Yeah.
What's this film?
Why is he in this?
Like, because in Zoolander, it's like deliberate. They put in super famous people.
Yeah.
That's like their whole thing. Whereas this, they were like, they just got these actors that they thought was pretty funny, and it turns out they were very funny.
Yeah.
And they've gone on to be very funny. So I'm thinking 4.
I'm thinking 4 too. Oh yeah, and also the voice of the can of vegetables went on to become Archer and Bob from Bob's Burgers and Carl and Family Guy after this movie. That'll happen after this movie.
We say 4.5?
I don't know. I think it's a pretty consistent cast.
What about 4.3?
4.3 is good.
yeah, there you go.
I think 4.3 is a good one.
Perfect. I am now going to tally up the scores and see what these got.
Oh, I've got to fill for time. I forgot that's a part of the bonus battles, is when the other host has to fill for time. while maths are being done. I was too busy taking a sip of my lovely ginger ale and whiskey.
Did I mess up my calculations? I might have. 1 second.
Oh, it's that popular part of bonus battles where we redo the calculations. I do it every time as well, actually. It's quite a famous part of the show because usually at this point in the bonus battle, we're down a couple.
Nope, I did them correct. All right. I thought I was wrong, but I was actually right, and it's a shocking development. It's a complete upset.
Oh my.
Now, Sandro.
Yes.
You've always claimed that Wet Hot American Summer was the best comedy.
No. The funniest comedy of all time. Not the best comedy, it's the funniest comedy of all time.
The funniest comedy of all time, yes.
It might not be the best. Maybe one is better. Maybe Doctor Strangelove is better. But, yeah,
Okay. But Zoolander is said to be the best comedy of 2001.
It is, yeah.
Are you saying it is? Are you confirming that it is better?
I'm saying that people who are wrong consider it to be the best comedy of 2001.
Yes, okay. Well, it looks like we've done the science tonight.
Ooh.
And you, Sandro, are, unfortunately...
No!
Correct!
Woo!
Because losing with 7.8, because of the 0.3 and the 0.5, is Zoolander.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Yeah, which is much lower than I thought it would score, but...
I mean, you came up with the categories.
Yeah. But I feel that's fair, because with a solid 3-point lead...
Yeah?
...is Wet Hot American Summer with 30.8.
Oh, 30.8 on that one, too.
Yes.
That's interesting, because I think only a 3-point difference makes sense, because they're both really solid. So, that's good.
Yeah, they're both really solid films that scored really highly, I feel, so...
So because of that, do we give both movies Better Than a Goodie awards?
I'll be down for that. Yeah, sure.
We don't have an award this year that we just give films that are better than a goodie. I mean, Clouded by Nostalgia technically works as I'm clouded by nostalgia for Wet Hot, and you're clouded by nostalgia.
And you want to give it an award, and I'm clouded by nostalgia, and I want to give this one an award. Yeah,
there we go.
Clouded by Nostalgia award. Yay!
Yay!
Perfect.
Oh, they both get it, because they're both great. And if you haven't seen any of them, we just ruined a bunch of the jokes, but I think it's still funny. Go watch it.
Hey all you guys, gals and non-binary pals.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Maddie, and we're the hosts of WTF is Happening,
Australia's #1 pop culture podcast, as voted by our mums.
We're here to be your weekly 60-minute pop culture catch-up.
You can expect stories from our personal lives that basically guarantee we'll never get a date.
Legendary guest interviews where we find out which cultural moments shaped their lives.
And honestly, just a touch of, chaotic, frantic energy.
Now, as soon as you're done with the iconic podcast you're listening to right now...
go and listen and subscribe to us.
Agreed.
Cute.
Well, what a bonus battle. What a bonus battle. We will get into some reviews in a second, but if you love bonus battles, you want to hear more of them. We've done heaps on the main show last year. 3 Men and a Baby and Trains, Planes and Automobiles was a lot of fun. Go check that out. I think we did Jaws 4 and Superman 4 as well, didn't we?
Oh, God, don't remind me.
That was a painful one. But we've done a bunch over on Patreon too. That Disney one is out now.
Oh, yes.
We also did a kids film from 1984 bonus battle with Kid Ko and Cloak and Dagger. That was a thing.
I did like Cloak and Dagger.
And modern day video game bonus battle with Uncharted versus Resident Evil, the new one. Those are up on Patreon if you like the bonus battle, now that that's done. And I reckon that was a fun one. But let's get into something else, something different, but something that also has points.
Whoa, it's time for radical reviews.
Whoa, what a trip.
It's radical reviews. Hey, what's up, fellow reviewers? It's the time when we go back to the best, most rad, most fly, most hip to the kids place. That's right, it's Rotten Tomatoes. And we're getting the reviews from definitely not the reviewers this week, because they are, by our definition, science has been done. Objectively wrong.
Yeah, it's true.
It's so low. 36%, I think they gave Wet
For
Hot.
Wet Hot, look.
Which is just a disgrace.
It's a shame. But 75 audience.
Because it's the audience. They know what's up. They know what's up. This week, though, of course, we have 2 movies. So I've put in a little extra. There's a little extra reviews, which is great because we've already gone, like, fucking forever on this episode.
I already knew this was going to be a long one.
Yeah. This is a long episode. I've grabbed reviews from both movies. And put them in. And so Sandro not only has to guess the score when I tell him the review, which is between 0.5 and 5.
That's true. No 0.3s allowed, so...
No, not in this smart system.
Not in this economy.
Not in this economy, no. But he also has to guess which movie they're for.
Yes.
And I've gotten 8 reviews.
Ooh!
But 2 of them I have made.
Oh my, how devilish.
I know, because there's 2 movies, so I made 2 reviews. All right, we have William, who says, "Man, everyone in this film was stupid."
God damn it. All right. Oh, this is going to be fun. God damn, everyone in this movie was stupid. I mean, when you're watching Wet Hot American Summer, if you're not on that movie's wavelength, I find it hard to picture someone watching Wet Hot American Summer and getting annoyed that characters are stupid, because that's the whole point. Whereas with Zoolander, I can see someone getting annoyed at how stupid characters are. So I'm going to say Zoolander.
Okay.
In terms of the score, if it's Zoolander and you don't like that they're stupid, you're probably not going to like the movie. So I will say probably a 2. 2 out of 5.
And it's Zoolander.
And it's Zoolander.
Well, it was actually 4.5, and it was for Wet Hot American Summer. Ooh, not a good start for you. Not a good start for you.
Those 2 points, I want them.
I thought you could tell by that review that it was clearly sarcastic and they enjoyed it, you know?
You didn't read it like that.
I manipulated you, like I always do. Amelia says, cringeworthy, even if fun.
Fucking hell. These are all going to be impossible. All right. Well, we're sticking with what I did last time. Cringeworthy, even if funny. Was that it?
Cringeworthy, even if fun, smiley face.
Even if fun, smiley face. I guess Wet Hot's kind of cringeworthy, maybe. There's like the awkward conversations, but there's so much weirdness in there that I don't think you can call it cringeworthy. So I'll go Zoolander, and I'm going to say fun, smiley face, feels like a 3.
Ooh, you were close. It's 2 out of 5, because it's cringeworthy. But they were trying to be nice about it.
Okay.
But it was Zoolander.
Yes.
So there you go. You got a point.
There
You're
we
on the
go.
board.
There we go. There it is.
We have Cassie, who says, amazing. Your life will never be the same. The most moving piece of cinema since Gone with the Wind.
I mean, as much as I would like to say that the comparison to Gone with the Wind kind of, hasn't aged well in terms of some race stuff, as much as I would like to draw the comparison between that and Zoolander, I feel like this is probably for Wet Hot, because I feel like someone who enjoys Wet Hot would make that joke. It's so moving. It brings a tear to my eye. So I'm going to say Wet Hot.
Okay.
5 out of 5? No, 4. 4 out of 5.
Oh, you're going 4? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll go 4.
Okay, because it's 5 out of 5. We're right. You should have gone with your gut.
Damn
Sandra.
it.
But your gut was correct about it being Wet Hot American Summer.
There we go. God, if I went with my gut, 2 extra points, but only 1. There we go.
We have DL, who says, ignore the critics. This film is a total hoot.
Okay. Well, it's a overall positive rating on Zoolander from the critics. So it's gotta be Wet Hot. A total hoot doesn't give me 5 out of 5 vibes. It gives me 3.5 out of 5 vibes. So Wet Hot, 3.5.
Oh, you're so close. It's 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
But it's for Zoolander!
Oh, what?
They said ignore the critics because it's 66%, Sandro, and that's still too low.
That's not negative. That's
the
actually...
audience is 80%.
I mean, 66 to like 75 is pretty average for Rotten Tomatoes.
Sandro, you were thinking logically, but you forgot one step, Sandro.
Everyone's dumb on the internet.
Okay, you forgot two steps. One, everyone's dumb on the internet, and Zach's gonna specifically try and manipulate you, remember? You should have been like, but that's what Zach wants me to think.
I'll tell you what, I don't know which one's yours yet. I honestly wouldn't say any of these have been yours so far.
I can tell you that at least one of mine has gone through already.
Oh, damn. All right. I've got to think. God damn, the stakes are high.
Andrew says, I made it halfway before giving up. I think this is one you had to grow up with to enjoy today. It was pretty unfunny and uninteresting.
Oh, 1 star. I'll lock that in straight off the bat. 1 star.
You know that's not the lowest you can go, remember, Sandro?
Yeah, but also, like, from experience, 0.5 is usually people who have, like, exclamation marks and then making wild claims. That person seemed quite like they've actually thought out their opinion a bit more, so, more of a 1.
I mean, they made it about halfway before giving up.
Actually, yeah, you're right. If you haven't finished it, it's probably 0.5. But you're trying to manipulate me, so it's a 1. And what movie?
Never.
What movie? You have to have grown up with it to find it funny. Makes me think Zoolander. But someone stopping it halfway through makes me think Wet Hot. Because it's a very specific style of comedy. I'm gonna go Wet Hot. I'll go for 1 star on Wet Hot.
I thought I was going to get you with that thinking it was Zoolander, but it was Wet Hot. It was Wet Hot. You did get that right. Unfortunately, it was 0.5. You fool, you fell for my trap.
So evil.
Yes. We've got a couple more to... We've got a couple more to go.
I'm leaving that in. I don't know.
We have Elijah, who says... Good movie. I first I think he meant saw it.
Yep.
I first saw it on cable after I saw it. I kept on watching it because I love this movie that much, but it has been a while since I have seen it.
For a second, I thought, like, he was saying, I watched it on TV after I had seen It. I was like, the movie It?
No. The
90s Stephen King adaptation?
I first saw it on cable, and after I saw it, I kept on watching it because I love this movie that much, but it has been a while since I have seen it.
There is no way it's Wet Hot. I don't believe that movie gets shown on cable. Because no one knows about it, really. It's definitely a cult classic, and I don't think they play cult classics on TV. Aside from on Channel 7 here in Australia. So Zoolander feels like a cable movie that you'd watch over and over again as a kid or a teen or however old this person was. I'll go 5 out of 5 because their proficiency in the English language when it comes to writing seems quite limited.
Are you saying because they're dumb, they rated it 5 out of 5?
Well, a lot of the time, yeah. A lot of the time,
people insulting Elijah's intelligence.
A lot of the time, people who rate 5 out of 5 don't have the smartest of reviews.
Wow, Sandro, wow. And maybe you should have learnt from watching Zoolander that even the dumbest people can be smart because they rated it 4.5. Sandro, you fool. You should have learned from Zoolander, which was the movie that they were rating this definitely.
Yes.
But you should have learned that they're kind of smart.
A real Zoolander fan would have given it 4.3.
Yeah, but they physically couldn't. Maybe that's what they were trying to do.
Maybe.
But they were so dumb they didn't realize it was 0.5.
Yeah.
Ben, a person recently asked me, what movie made you laugh the most? And this is the answer.
It's Wet Hot. It's Wet Hot.
Okay.
It's the funniest movie of all time. It's Wet Hot. I'm gonna say it's probably 4.
Ooh. Are you sure?
4. Yeah, because it's not like a raving review. It's kind of scaled back. I'm thinking 4. But again, if it's like the movie that made you laugh the most. But people don't think that comedy is...
That's true.
...worthy of super high ratings, just in general.
That is a true fact.
I'll go 4.
It's 3.5. It's 3.5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The most they've ever laughed, and they rated a 3.5.
That's what's wrong with society right there.
For Zoolander.
Oh, no!
Oh! Do you know why? Because they probably haven't seen Wet Hot Summer. Because no one's seen the movie, Sandra.
It's true.
They rated Zoolander a 3.5, but it's the
funniest thing
the movie that made them laugh the most. I don't understand, Ben.
No, that's very silly.
Speaking of very silly, Sandro, it's time for the final one of these. Are you ready?
No. If it's very silly, it's yours.
This review is by Zach.
Oh, and it's not you then.
He says, "Hey Sandro, it's Zach. Fuck you. Good luck guessing the movie for this. Bitch. Winky face."
Oh no! Oh, what a meme! Well, okay.
What movie could this Zach fella, be referring to? This seems a bit weird and specific for this movie that they're referring to.
Look, it's you, so that's a point.
Oh, what?
You've basically given me a point right there.
Yeah.
But what movie? Yeah. Well, by answering that question, I'm going to need to ask you a question first. What movie was the review mentioning that you should ignore the critics for? That was for Zoolander, right? Mm-hmm. So therefore, that being your review, specifically to manipulate me into guessing that it was for Wet Hot, the ignore your critics review was yours. This one's also yours. This one has to be for Wet Hot American Summer. I feel like you would probably give us a 4.
Okay, well, first off, you don't know if it's my review. We haven't guessed yet. Second off, they rated this a 5 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
And it was for Wet Hot American Summer.
At least I got 1 point. You gave this 5 out of 5? Is that correct?
I'd probably give it like a 4.5 or a 4, you know, but I wanted to fuck you up, you know? This was the, hey, Sandro, it's Zach, fuck you. Good luck guessing the movie for this bitch. I also wrote down, you could be an ass and just change it to whatever he doesn't guess, but I wasn't going to do that to you.
Okay.
All right.
But it was for Wet Hot, right?
Yes, it was for Wet Hot.
So that's another point. So I've got 6 points. And your other review was Ignore the Critics, right? That was yours.
No, it was not, Sandro, you fool. Mine was the very first one, which was also for Wet Hot, which said, man, everyone in this film was stupid.
You made 2 reviews for Wet Hot American Summer. You fucking hell.
You fool.
What a meme!
Yeah, I didn't even review Zoolander. Who gives a shit?
Only 6 points. That's fine.
Hey, that's almost half the points you could have gotten. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Well, that's the whole episode. Thank you so much for listening. This has been a fun one. If you like the show and want to help us out, just telling a friend. I mean, that helps miles. Is that something people say?
It is now.
Yeah.
Miles.
It helps miles. Get the show out in front of more people. Also reviewing us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on whatever app you use if it allows that. Yeah, fucking commenting on YouTube. I don't care. That helps as well. And we appreciate everyone who does that. We are on the socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Maybe TikTok soon.
Yeah.
With some clips and stuff. I've been thinking about that for a while. And Patreon, we've already mentioned it, so I'll just say it's there. Link in the episode description if you've got some spare cash hanging around. That really helps out the show, buy equipment that needs upgrading, etc. Thanks to Josh Cake for our theme song. Thanks to That's Not Canon Productions, our network. Check me out on Twitch. Check out my other podcast, Ants. Check Zach out on his personal Facebook.
What? Why would you do that? Don't do that. Don't do that. Check out me when I'm relevant at some point, which I will be, hopefully, this year at least.
On Twitch, yes.
Yes. I'm bad at social. I'm bad at social apps. I've realized. I'll hop on them and I'll use them for maybe a month, and then I'll just not. I'm done with them.
Yeah, you're kind of like me. You only use Messenger.
But that's not really a social app. That's just like, I need to message a friend of mine so I can be social in real life.
Yeah.
It's like, I also text people. I also use Discord, so it's not the only thing I use, but yeah, still. Sandro, speaking of messaging.
Yes.
I need a message in the form of, I need to know. You need to tell me. You need to give me the info via a message.
Oh.
What movie we're going to be doing next week.
Well, it is your choice.
So what am I tell me my choice? That was leading up to you telling me the choices.
Yeah, no, I'm getting to it, all right?
Okay.
I think, is this the first episode in October? It is. It's our first October episode. We're getting into the spooky season.
Of spooky October. Well, I hope you've got some extra spooky movies.
Episode 200's in October as well. We got to figure out what we're doing for that.
Ooh, oh, yeah, we got to figure that out at some point. God. I hope we don't do something stupid and contrived.
Not again. Last time on episode 100, we definitely did something dumb.
Yeah. God, I sure hope we're not going to do something stupid.
Exactly. But no. That's all in the future. Who cares? The future, you're dumb. We're more about the choices. That's what we like. And you've got a bunch of options.
Hopefully spooky ones. Let's go.
Well, the first one is spooky. It's called Joyride.
Ooh.
It's co-written by J.J. Abrams.
Ooh.
Very spooky, because he helped revive Star Wars and then made the worst Star Wars film in Episode 9.
Still gives me nightmares. So terrifying.
So scary. That's a movie about a bunch of people on a road trip. They prank a truck driver.
Oh.
The truck driver then starts to violently pursue them on the streets.
Oh my god.
Spooky truck driver, man.
I'm just imagining that scene from that one movie we did with the aliens.
Oh, the jump scares with the cars.
That's what I'm imagining this movie is.
Damn, that movie's got 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. Even if you don't pick it, I might just watch it. That sounds great.
Oh, okay.
The alternative title is Roadkill. That's kind of fun.
Ooh, yeah, okay. That's a bit more spooky. All right, yeah. I'm with you now. Very spooky.
You've got Max Keeble's Big Move.
Okay, what's this? Sounds like a sequel, which I'm less inclined.
True. When he learns that he's about to move towns, Max attempts to get even with those that bullied him and his friends.
Oh my.
Yeah, he wants revenge.
Next
is a very scary movie. It's called Serendipity. It is a John Cusack and Kate Beckinsale rom-com about a New Yorker and a British person who reunite after many years apart. You've got Training Day.
Ooh.
It's about a very eventful day in the life of the LAPD.
Oh, yeah.
As Denzel Washington, as a detective, has to train Ethan Hawke in the way of the laws and crime and terrorism and stuff, probably.
Nice. Not spooky, though.
No,
Pass.
not spooky. And then your final option is Tremors 3, Back to Perfection.
Okay. Now, I did say I wouldn't do a sequel, but I have seen the first Tremors, I think.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Well, Tremors, if you don't know, Zach, as you know, it is a comedic monster horror action movie thing.
A true, proper horror thing. As much as I love creepy trucks.
Yes. Oh, you don't even want to know what Tremors 3 is about.
I don't give a shit what Tremors
It's
about.
got aliens called the Ass Blasters in it.
Oh, God. Okay.
That's all I wanted to mention. They can fly through the power of flatulence.
See, this is why I didn't want to know what was in it, Sandro. Because now I less want to do it. But also, I was like, all right, because I want to do a spooky thing for October, right? Start us off on a spooky note.
Yeah.
And I was going to pick the truck one, but I like Tremors as a concept. I like the first one.
Now, you say you've seen the first one, but a long time ago. I've also seen the first one, but like a few months ago.
Oh, okay. Well, you definitely are more up to date. Would you like to see the second one then?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah.
because you've solidly picked sequels this year. You've picked so many sequels.
Yeah, I just keep picking sequels. Look, I've watched a lot of movies. I'm drained. I did, and the other week I did watch the anime one. To be fair, the first one I'd say is almost better than the second one, so it wasn't too bad.
And you watched an entire Crocodile Dundee trilogy this year.
To be fair, the first one was pretty fun. I'd like to like a lot of the sequels, it's usually the first one did well because it was a good movie and then they made fucking trash afterwards.
Exactly.
And then you've seen the trash. You only know these franchises as their trash forms, which is very sad.
Which could be funny because if you only watched Tremors 3 after years and years and years, decades even, of not watching the franchise.
Yeah, I barely remember the first one.
It's like a horror film, but the aliens are, the monsters are like small sandworms.
Yeah. They're like Dune sandworms. I remember that because I was like, oh, that's like Dune.
Yeah, it's like Dune meets Jaws, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
All right, well, I guess I'll watch Tremors 2 and then 3, and then you watch 3, and then we do an episode on it next week, right here at Oldie But a Goodie.
Wow! Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-now.
What?
Well, that's what the voice you were going for. Next time on Oldie But a Goodie.
Oldie But a Goodie.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-now.
All right, well, we'll do that next week. Tremors 3, Back to Perfection, which is a fun title because it's like, not many people liked the second one, so it's like back to... because it's like more in style with the first movie. It's like back to the perfection that was the first film, but it's also set in a town called Perfection that they're going back to. So it's a fun meme pun title. Yeah.
Clever.
Let's wrap it up with the best quote from Zoolander and Wet Hot. That's right, we're doing two quotes. My favorite quote from Zoolander is, "Sting is a hero of mine. The music he's been making over the years, do I listen to it? No, but I respect it."
My favorite quote from Zoolander is, "The files are in the computer. I know what to do."
My favorite quote from Wet Hot is, "All right, I'll explain everything. Meet me at that bench in 10 seconds.
And mine was definitely, "She definitely wants to fuck me. Why else would she talk to you? No offense."